Hi there guys, I hope you have had a good day. So, Teofimo Lopez has beaten Lomachenko. What incredible news this is. I mean, it's just incredible. Teofimo Lopez, 23 years old, the youngest opponent of Lomachenko, has beaten him by unanimous points decision. Now, during this fight, Teofimo Lopez was undoubtedly the bigger man, with possibly the more power. And I think that early on, Vassily Lomachenko gave him too much respect for that, and had to play catch up later on in the fight. Because once Lomachenko started throwing caution to the wind and just went in, that was when he started having more and more success. So I think that ultimately what it was he was giving Teofimo Lopez too much respect because he is the bigger man, more power, had the size advantage. So maybe during the early round he was too happy to sit back and allow Teofimo Lopez to press the action. It was Lopez who was implementing his game plan on Lomachenko as opposed to the other way around. Maybe Lomachenko did decide that he wanted to come on strong later into the fight, but it was too late when he did. Lomachenko did take a majority of the last 3 or 4 rounds, but that wasn't enough. I mean, he was too far behind. Lomachenko had already had too much to do by the time the 6th or 7th round came around. So he was looking for a knockout, and that is what spurred him on to start winning those rounds. Imagine if he would have started in that fashion, then maybe we wouldn't even be having this conversation. So it's not like Lomachenko lost. Teofimo Lopez did win, and he deserves a huge amount of respect for that. 23 years old, unified the division. It's incredible. The youngest opponent of Lomachenko. So Teofimo Lopez deserves a huge amount of credit. Incredible fight, incredible fighter. Remember, Teofimo Lopez turned pro in 2016. Just 4.5 years, say, and he's become a unified champion, beating Lomachenko, who arguably could be in the top 10, top 15 ever fighters in the world. Now, as I said, I do believe that Lomachenko did give him too much respect early on in the contest because he didn't seem willing at all to engage, and you can understand that because he was in there with the bigger man, the more powerful man, who had a huge right hand that was a money punch for him. So you can see why Lomachenko was kind of boxing off the back foot, but that's not really his game. I mean, Lomachenko likes to walk forward, not necessarily walk forward, but come around to the side and use angles. He's more of a pressure fighter. He can box off the back foot, but he looks best and he does his best when he's going forwards. And against Lopez, he wasn't doing that. He was too tentative and he didn't seem to want to engage. It was Lopez who did, and Lopez is naturally larger, more powerful, and 9 years younger. And he did back up the pre-fight trash talk quite impressively, and it was only his 16th professional fight, and he is now number 1 at 135. And in this fight, he didn't allow Lomachenko, who is just a technical genius, to take over. He thwarted everything he was doing. Even when Lomachenko did try to give him angles, he had an answer for it. He had little counters that he was throwing, little things that he would do that could easily be missed to thwart the progress of Lomachenko, to make sure that he was pushing him back as opposed to the other way around. Now, obviously Lomachenko had huge moments in the fight. He was always going to. He's incredible. But it was always something that Lomachenko was unable to capitalize on because Lopez did not allow it. And by the halfway point, it was just remarkable how cautious Lomachenko had approached the fight. He was unwilling to trade in punches, and he stayed on the back foot, in my opinion, for too long, and only came out of his shell in the latter half of the fight. Now, I do think that later on in the contest, Lomachenko was starting to press the action, and I think that Lopez was starting to feel the pace, and those body shots were really starting to bother Lopez. I think that Lomachenko was stepping on it too late though. If he had started that earlier, then maybe he could have got a late stoppage against Lopez, because he was starting to become lackluster in the few last rounds that we had in this contest. Lomachenko was the one who had the better gas tank going late into this fight. It wasn't Lopez. Maybe that's the weight, because Lopez is big for this weight. I mean, there were even talks about him going up after this fight. I don't know whether that will happen now. I hope not. I'd like to see a rematch, to be honest. So there's that fight there for Lopez. But considering the fact that Lopez is looking to go through the weights and he can go higher, I mean, Lomachenko can't go much higher than he is. He's already too small for the weight, really. I mean, it's just his skill and abilities that allow him to hack it at that kind of level in this weight division. So Lomachenko is extremely small for the lightweight division. Teofimo Lopez is not huge, but he's big, and he's going to have to move through the weight classes as he progresses through his career, because remember, he's only 23, and he's going to keep filling out, getting bigger, and that will see him move up in weight, and that is the reason why the weight cuts, the weight drains are going to be a little bit more difficult for Lopez, meaning that that little bit extra towards the end of the contest is not going to be there for Lopez, and that's maybe what Lomachenko tried to capitalize on. The fact that Lopez is the bigger man, maybe struggling to make weight more so than he is, so take it to the body late. But that was just too little too late for Lomachenko. I mean, the deal was almost already sealed by that point. He needed a knockout, and he didn't get it. Lopez did not allow that to happen. He stayed strong throughout the remainder of the contest, kept Lomachenko on the outside as best he could, but Lomachenko made that easy for him early on in the contest because he was being allowed to box at the range he wanted, and the guy who has the physical advantages should never be allowed to do that. And in the final 10 seconds of the contest, it was an all-out brawl. For the final 10 seconds, it was just mega insane. What a way to finish an epic fight like this, where it was technical to begin with, but towards the end it turned into something completely different. Lomachenko was marked up quite well by Lopez, especially when he underwent his assault to try and regain this fight in the later rounds. Lopez, you would think, or we do know now, that he had already done enough by that point. It was Lomachenko trying to go for a knockout. That was realistically the only way he was going to win this contest by the time rounds 8, 9 came around. It was too late by that point. So maybe it was a pacing issue for Lomachenko. Maybe he showed too much respect early on. Maybe that was the right thing to do to start with, considering the power of Lopez because of what he'd done against Richard Commey, a durable opponent. So maybe Lomachenko gave too much respect. Maybe that was the right thing to do, but maybe he didn't step on the gas as soon as he should have. But take nothing away from Teofimo Lopez, the new #1 in the lightweight division. And what does that do to the pound for pound rankings? In my opinion, Lomachenko was #1. Can he still be there at the moment? I don't believe so. Where does Teofimo Lopez fit on the pound for pound rankings now? Guys, I guess that is a question for you. What an incredible fight this was. A huge upset. We love an upset. An underdog story where the fighter who wins wasn't the one we were expecting. Lomachenko, incredible fighter, and a very humble man as well. But at the end of the day, Teofimo Lopez deserved the victory, and it's great when that happens. Lomachenko, I'm sure though, will be back and looking for a rematch. Guys, anyway, drop your thoughts on this in the comments below, leave a thumbs up and subscribe if you are new. Thanks guys.